Hello everyone, my name is Star Wars Boy, how are you? And welcome back to the channel for a brand new Star Wars Battlefront 2 video. In this video, we're going to be continuing the Hero Guide series with a Hero Guide on Iden Versio, one of the better blaster characters in the game. Before I start the video, I was looking at my YouTube statistics, and an extremely small percentage of people that watch my videos are actually subscribed. So if you continue to watch my channel and you're not subscribed, be sure to hit the subscribe button. It helps me out and it's completely free. Now let's get into the video. Taking a look at Iden's base stats, she has a base health of 650, which is pretty good for a blaster character. Her health regain is 200, which is on par with most blaster characters in the game. Her weapon, of course, is her TL50, which does some serious damage. It does 10 damage to 20 to the body and 19 to 38 to the head. Now, this may seem like very little damage, but the DPS is really high for this. It's 233.33 to 116.66, and the rate of fire is 700 rounds per minute, which is insane. The drop of damage is quite good, which is 30 to 50 meters, so it is a quite good ranged blaster. Now, Iden Versio, of course, has her secondary fire, which is really powerful. It does 150 damage, meaning it can one-hit all classes except the heavy. And the range is 6 meters, which is pretty good. The overheat is after 5 shot, but you can still consistently fire this. One of the best combos is spraying down her weapon while using the secondary fire. It does take a break from firing, however, it is really deadly. Taking a look at her abilities, her first ability is her stun droid and has a 20-second cooldown. Iden sends her droid to an enemy in front of her, stunning the target. The stun can chain to nearby enemies, which is one of the main things that make this ability pretty good. The duration is 0.9 seconds, so it is a pretty short duration. As for the pros, it allows for quick damage, good area effect, and deals 40 damage. As for the cons, it does have a really long cooldown for this ability, and the ability itself has a really long animation. By the time the droid actually gets to the enemy, they'll have plenty of time to see the droid coming towards them. Her R1 ability is her droid shield and has a quick 10-second cooldown. Iden's droid creates a shield around her, protecting her from incoming blaster damage. Now, the duration is 12 seconds, which is honestly pretty decent. As for the pros, it allows for a quick escape, grants 750 shield, and has a good deploy time. There's pretty much only 1 second of deploy time, which is pretty good for this shield. Pretty much the biggest con for this ability is the fact that it can protect against sabers, meaning that you may be able to escape from blaster fire, but this ability pretty much does nothing against saber heroes. Now moving on to Iden's final ability, it is called Pulse Cannon and it has a 1 second cooldown. Iden swaps out her TL50 for the DLT-2AA sniper rifle. The damage is quite decent. Unzoomed it deals 40 to 100 damage, while zoomed deals 72 to 180. The pulse splash damage is 20, which is pretty good. As for the pros, it has great range, good damage, and an amazing cooldown. One of the biggest problems with Iden is, other than her secondary fire, she doesn't have really anything at long range. However, this pulse cannon fixes it. Honestly, I'd have to say that this ability has no cons, but it's not an amazing ability despite that. This ability is pretty average, but because of her hero, it makes it actually a pretty decent ability. Say, if you're in a close quarters situation, you're never going to use this ability, but this does provide for some long range tactics. Now moving on to her start cards, these are 3 start cards that I personally use all the time when running Iden Versio, no matter what the game mode. The first start card is called Cold Blaster, and Iden Versio's TL50 build less heat when firing. The card goes from 8% less to 15% less with a maxed out start card. This card is an obvious one as you can shoot longer with less cooldown. This is a pretty obvious one if you're just playing Heroes vs Villains or Galactic Assault. You can fire more, and there's less heat buildup, so it is a pretty good card. The next card is called Alternative Methods. Iden Versios TL50 can use alternate fire more frequently. It goes from 10% more to 25% more with a maxed out star card. Again, this is an obvious one, as Iden Versios TL50 secondary fire has to be one of the most satisfying yet overpowered things in the game, so being able to use it more often is pretty much a no-brainer. This is good in both hero game modes and trooper game modes. The final card I'll recommend is Droid Batteries. Stun Droid and Droid Shield both have a decreased recharge time. The recharge time goes from 10% less to 25% less with a maxed out star card. Now this is a pretty decent card because it does let you use Stun Droid and Droid Shield more. One of the biggest complaints that I had with the stun is the fact that the cooldown is pretty long for that ability, and with this card, it actually makes the ability have a shorter recharge time. So that does fix one of the main problems of that ability. Having the Droid Shield ready faster is pretty good in trooper game mode, so this will help you. Now moving on to some of Iden's best maps. These are 3 maps that I personally use Iden Versio on a lot. The first one is Naboo. If you've been watching this series for a while, Naboo is pretty much a good map for every character, so I'm not gonna get too much into that. The next map I recommend is Kashyyyk. It's pretty close quarter yet open at the same time. The second phase is actually really good for her, as she can shoot her secondary fire into the Juggernauts and actually get a couple kills through that way. She can also use her secondary fire in the fuel storage, or whatever that phase is called, and get a lot of kills. So this map is pretty good. As for Kamino, this map is also, again, a close quarter yet open map. The first phase is pretty close quarter, along with the third and fourth phase, but the second phase does allow for that use of the pulse cannon, which is, again, it's a good ability. People should use it more often. Now, usually this is the time when I would go over tips and tricks for the certain hero. However, today I'm just going to list one overpowered tactic and one tip. The first tip is honestly just use the pulse cannon, like I've said so many times during this video. The pulse cannon is really good and has great range, so I recommend getting some practice with it and using it a lot next time you play Iden. Now moving on to the overpowered tactic, this is honestly against blaster or lightsaber heroes that go and attack you. Because most of the time, if you're playing as a blaster character, you're gonna get targeted by a lightsaber character. And Iden actually has a great defense against this. You see, you don't actually have to hit your shots with Iden against lightsaber characters, and it's impossible to if they're blocking. You can actually just shoot them with the secondary fire at their feet. Normally, when you shoot them the first time, they're gonna try and take you out as quickly as possible. Now, you want to try and shoot them another time, but once they start swinging, you actually want to use the stun droid. Now, many people, when using the stun droid, they'll just use the secondary fire. However, this is actually incorrect, because Iden's stun actually goes on for a pretty long time. So during that time, you want to get as many headshots as possible. I said this in the tips and tricks video, so I'll repeat it again in this video. I'll also link the tips and tricks video at the end of the video in case you want to go watch it. So anyways, getting headshots with Iden TL50 is devastating. Once the enemy comes out of the stun, he's going to be pretty low, so you just want to finish up with some secondary fire shots. And they're going to be over. This is one of the main reasons why Iden is such a challenge to take down. And if they're a good Iden player, they will pretty much demolish you. So that is going to be it for this video, guys. Again, we have some more hero guides to do. Tomorrow we'll be doing a hero guide on Lando Calrissian, and we have a few more hero guides, again, to go. And then we'll be done with this series. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. An extremely small percentage of you guys are subscribed, so be sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching. See you guys next time. Bye, and may the Force be with you always.